This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio with me, Deborah Wolfe. And today I guess we're going to talk about Baloo and Bambi, but not the Disney ones. And also, of course, dog stuff, cat stuff, a little bit of whale stuff. I don't even know how far we're going to get into my list of exciting topics because it's a big one this week. Just keeps, I get this pile of things to talk about, and then new exciting things come in, and then that adds to the top. And I never quite get to the bottom, and then sometimes I look through it just before I go on air, and I think, oh my God, I got to talk about that. That's so exciting. So the pile never gets down to zero. And there's a lot of good animal news and animal things going on right now. So, okay, why Baloo and Bambi? Well, in Bella, and I was just telling you about Bella last few shows ago because the wolves up there have learned how to use the fishermen's crab trap lines and are demonstrating tool use in the way they pull the traps in and up and raid them for the bait. So that was a pretty cool story. But, okay, so Bella had a disaster. There was a school trip. And, you know, the little kids all in a row with the teachers going on a little field trip. But unfortunately, they encountered a grizzly bear. And we believe it's a sow. Anyway, the bear, big adult bear, attacked them. So 3 kids and a teacher or an adult of some kind had to be airlifted to the hospital. Some are in critical or well, I don't know. They're not releasing a lot of details. But it's pretty grim, and a lot of people were injured and very freaked out. And the teachers are being just heralded because they stood up to the bear. The teachers protected the kids. So, well, that's what's going on. So now there's a bear hunt out, and people are trying to find the bear. And they trapped one and put GPS collars on it, and then they trapped a second one and put GPS collars on it. I'm not sure why they didn't shoot them. I'm not sure how they're going to deal with the fact that if they do kill the mama, they believe it was a mama with 2 cubs because 2 cubs were seen shortly after. So if that's true and they killed a mama, then they have 2 nuisance cub bears. So that's a problem because they won't be able to survive or hunt on their own, and they'll probably start raiding people's, homes and trees. And anyway, grizzlies are not like other animals. They will prey on humans. We are not above them in the scheme of things, especially if we don't have a gun. So grizzlies are the fiercest and biggest and most ferocious of bears other than polar. And they can be very unpredictable, but I would say they can be very predictable. They predictably will attack humans. So they're GPSing these bears. So now they're going to know where they are. Okay, that's good, I guess. But how do you tell every family, every child, every person, every hiker, every dog walker where the bears are? I don't understand this. Is it being broadcast? Is there a website with the GPS? I don't think so. So that's quite alarming. And then the idea that you should never shoot any of them. Is that a good idea? Is that a good idea? Because relocation of bears normally doesn't work. There was one called Tex on Texada Island that they kept relocating miles and miles away, and he just kept coming back. Why? Because where you relocate the animal to is already occupied, probably by a bigger bear. So he has no choice. He's found his safe territory, right? He's found his food source. It looks empty to us. When you drop off a mouse or a raccoon or something you caught and you go out miles away from what you think is people and you drop it off, oh, that thing's coming back. They can travel. So I don't know why. And then there's the other thing, which is if you don't ever shoot bear, ever, never, then the bears start not fearing humans. And they don't avoid us anymore. And so that's a big issue. But turn this on its head, and we have something opposite to that in Florida, where they're about to kill a bunch of bears, a whole lot of them. If you want to find out about this and you want to help save a bear, look up Spare a Bear in Florida. You can buy a license and not use it. Anyway, they're letting people just go out and kill a lot of bears, even though the bear population is likely not able to withstand that. And in a couple of years, they'll have research on it. So they're kind of premature. They've had no hunting of bears for like 20 years or 10 years or something. And now they're going to start it all up again. I was talking about that with all the details and facts the last show. So if you want to know more about the bear hunt in Florida, listen to a previous show that I did, the last one before this, because I don't have that all in front of me right now. But I do know that they haven't done it for at least a decade, maybe more. And all of a sudden they're deciding to do it in unprecedented numbers. And the research, they've launched a 10-year study. The research is coming due in a couple years, and they should just wait. So that's another problem. We got some problems with how we manage animals. And since this is the animal party on Pet Life Radio, we got to talk about it. Now, if you just want to see some fun dog stuff, then maybe check out TikTok, Camp Good Dog. I've just been trying lately to post, and I got some great slow-mo video of dogs running through the forest that I think is super cool. Now, I'm not really a TikToker. It's a little young for me, but people told me that they love dogs on there, so I got dogs. I got dog footage. I got great dog eye candy for anyone who's interested. Seeing dogs play, run, swim, jump, and you know the way TikTok works. It kind of cuts it to short little bits and puts music to it, and it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'll see if I can post something on my next mushroom foraging walk. More about that after the break on Animal Party Pet Life Radio.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, we're back on Animal Party Pet Life Radio. So I was foraging the other day, which is a fancy word for hiking and looking for stuff you can eat. And I was out there in the woods and I was telling my dogs, as I usually do, find the mushrooms, find the mushrooms. I'm not sure if they're finding them yet. I'm going to start introducing treats. Whenever I find mushrooms, I'm going to get them to sit with me and eat a treat and see if that helps. But what they are doing is they're finding amazing trails, because I go off trail to look for mushrooms. And then I get very distracted. I've got my music on and I'm singing and the dogs are running around and there's no people at all and the forest is immense. And then I don't know where I am. So I tell the dogs, find the trail, find the trail. And they always do. But they sometimes find a trail that's not really good for people. It's maybe too steep or too slippery or too, maybe it winds too much. Or a lot of times it's just great if you're 2.5 feet tall like they are. But if you're the size of a human, there's a lot of overlying branches. Anyway, they do find a trail. And sometimes I have to say, no, guys, that is not a human trail. I'm going this way. And I have to go around because I can't manage where they go. But I am not the weak link, even though it might seem that way. Variety is good in your pack. And I think about this when I think about the army, oftentimes, or the police. Oftentimes people think, oh, the police force, the firemen, the army, they should all be, 6 feet, 200-pound men. Well, that's great if that's the task ahead, right? Great to have a big human in the forest hiking if the task is to climb a ladder. Yeah, the dogs are lousy at climbing ladders. And I can probably lift them up over the ladder, and I can climb the ladder. So great, I'm helpful in the pack. The rest of the time, they're very good at getting under things and around things and smelling things and finding the route. If we were all the same, then those bits where you have to kind of climb up like that would be a problem for them. And the bits where you have to find the trail that you've lost would be a problem for me. And the same is true with police or firemen or army. I mean, yes, you want a big guy to carry you out of the building, but the big guy can't always get into the building when they have to crawl under stuff and through the tiny opening. Maybe the woman who's built like a little anvil can do it better. And so you got to really think about this. We need variety. A dog pack is not monolithic. Everybody has their skill set, and we need that with people too. Okay, so whales. The other day I was talking about watching this TV show, and the one, deadliest catch, and the one boat was mad at the other boat, so they cut all their gear and released it into the ocean. Ha ha ha. And I was so irritated with this because where do you think that's going to go? It's going to go to fish. It's going to entangle porpoises and whales. And sure enough, we had another one in the Barkley Sound, which is it's off the west coast of North America. Let's just put it that way. And it was a humpback whale, and it was in American waters. And then it traveled up into Canadian waters. And the good part about that is we now finally have an agreement about that. So they were able to ask for permission to keep following it and pursuing it and trying to save it into our waters. And we said yes. And they did. So that's all good. But the poor whale had like 42 pounds of fishing gear and tackle attached to it. And that's what happens when you're not careful with your gear. When you throw stuff in the ocean, garbage and litter and the masses of pollution. It's not a garbage can. It's not. So we got to be really careful about that. But the good news is Eugenia, the humpback whale, is on her way to Hawaii. She is last spotted swimming over to Hawaii from, I guess, around here somewhere, the Puget Sound or the Georgia Strait or somewhere on the Pacific. And if only I could, like a cartoon, ride on her back and go to Hawaii with her and get away from this rain for a little while. All right, Eugenia, we wish you well. Now, they do say that 50% of the humpback whales have terrible scars on their bodies from where fishing gear and tackle has been caught and injured them. And then you got to wonder, well, how many of them just died, right? If half of them survived a tackle incident, and this one wouldn't have if they hadn't helped her. So how many don't? Let's get a handle on our garbage, everybody, especially you fishermen. I mean, you're the people who want the fruits of the sea, so you got to protect that. And that means being really, really responsible. Okay, we'll talk about deer when we come back on Animal Party, Pet Life Radio.
Real people, real stories.
Our little dog developed this lymph problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months, started developing more lymph nodes. So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to go down. Then I took him into the vet to have him checked out, and there was no signs at all inside.
My cat had issues that developed in his eye, and 3 months later, my veterinarian said, let's go ahead and remove the eye. I heard the carnivore on advertising, so I said, you know what? I'm going to order this product. They did the procedure. They did all the tests, and they said, I don't know what you did. This product saved his eye.
I've got a Labrador. She could hardly lift herself up off the floor. The treatment was chemotherapy. That's when I said, this could be the ticket. About 3 weeks, you could tell. She was very alert. She was going on a 5-mile walk. She is just like prime again.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's carnivora.com.
Use promo code PETLIFE at checkout for 15% off your order at carnivora.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. And I said I'd talk about Bambi, but Bambi is a little bit distant from what I'm going to talk about here. A deer that was adopted by a woman, I suppose rescued and kept for years. She's in her 60s. It attacked her. Yeah. So the wildlife rules say you can't do that. You got to re-release them, and you shouldn't domesticate them. And if you save an injured or orphaned animal, you should take it to a proper rescue where they'll, teach it to survive on its own and re-release it and make sure it doesn't get too used to humans. Well, some people defy that. They put diapers on their deer and they let it eat at the table or whatever their thing is, and the deer becomes a family pet. But like with monkeys, sometimes wild animals, they haven't had years and years and years of domestication like dogs. And they're not tiny like little domestic kitty cats. They can change their personality upon maturity or upon a triggering event. And in this case, we don't know what it was. Maybe it was a sexual time, puberty type of thing. We don't know. But you really got to be careful. And even though Bambi's adorable and baby deer are great, and when you go to a petting zoo, they're domesticated enough to be trusted, the males in rut season will knock a human flying, and they will not appreciate you anywhere near where they're going to have a quarrel with another male over the rights to mate a female. So you got to really be careful with some of these animals. You don't want to go near their babies. And I think we're getting to a point where the selfie and the post is starting to hurt people. People are getting too close to wild animals just because they want the picture. So be real careful about that. Now, there's a little bit of disturbing deer news. There's something called wasting disease in deer, and it's affected a whole bunch of them in our province near the American border. And they knew about that already. So there's a call on to try and help with that. But now that it seems one deer was killed by a hunter in the Okanagan, which is north of there, and it has wasting disease. You're not supposed to eat a deer with wasting disease, so you have to be really careful about this. And it does spread, and it's extremely contagious amongst other animals, but not to humans as far as they know. But it's just something to watch out for, everybody. Just to keep in mind that, the cartoons, Bambi, Baloo, are not really what we're encountering in the woods. And I got to keep reminding myself that, because when I'm out foraging, I see droppings. I see deer droppings, which I'm not too afraid of because I travel with 4 dogs. But I also see bear scat, and I should be more worried probably. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to pack a pepper spray the next time I go. I haven't been. I've got this idea that because I love animals, they'll love me. But that's really not correct. If you accidentally tread on an animal's territory or come between it and its young, doesn't matter how much you love or how much your goodwill is emanating from you toward this being. You got a bunch of barking dogs, you've just irritated something, you could get into a problem. And a lot of people get into a problem where the dogs bark at the bear and then run back to them. So that could happen as well. So you have to be ready for that. There's also the issue of what if your dogs see a deer and keep chasing it? Like keep chasing it and keep chasing it and keep chasing it and maybe can't find you again. So while I'm in the woods, I'm constantly reviewing training and working on them and rewarding them. And oftentimes I will keep 1 or 2 on leash and just keep my training sharp. I don't want to just have it be a free-for-all. We don't get out of the car and just go. At the start of the walk, everybody's practicing. The most mellow dog who's always at my side, okay, she just gets out of the car. But everybody else gets a little bit of leash work, gets a little bit of obedience, gets a little bit of showing me they're going to listen to me for a treat. And then they get to go play. And then I get distracted by the mushrooms because you got to establish that first. So if you're taking your dog to the park and your dog always drags you, right? Drag the whole way, pulls all the way. And then the way back is probably decent, or he's dragging you the other way, trying to get back to the park. That's no good. You could stop this today. You could stop this tomorrow. I could stop this in a few minutes with your dog. I would walk out your house and immediately he'd start to pull in the direction of the park. And I would just say, heel, and go the other way. And as soon as he was nicely walking at my side, kind of looking up at me, waiting for me to direct him, I'd say, good boy. Might even touch his head a little bit. Good boy. And then I would turn the direction he wants to go. At which point, he will likely yank in that direction. He wants that park. So boom, he's pulling to the park. He's learned from years with you that if he pulls, he gets to the park faster. So I'm now showing him if he pulls, he gets to the park slower or not at all. If he doesn't pull, he gets to the park faster. So that's what I'm teaching him. If you heel, if you walk respectfully, we'll go everywhere you want. But if you pull me, We're going the opposite way because I'm the leader of this walk and we're both going to respect each other. I don't want to yank you. I don't want you yanking me. And it's not going to be a tug of war all the way to the park where I'm going heel, heel, heel over and over again. That's ridiculous. That's not how I want to hold a mocha in one hand, barely hold the leash in the other, and saunter to the park and stop whenever I want. And if he wants to stop and pee on something, that's okay with me. We're not on a jog. I didn't tell him to, we have to run. This is a walk. But we have to respect each other. He can't drag me over to a tree in the middle of a lawn to sniff it or drag me through mud or a puddle just because he found something interesting. And I won't do the same to him. It's a nice walk. But the thing is, every time he tries to drag me somewhere, I go the other way. I just say heel, and I keep the leash a little bit tighter. They give a little bit jerk reminders, just a little bit, so the leash makes a noise, clink, clink, with his tags, and I just keep walking. I don't stand still. I keep walking. And so he right away goes, okay, we're going this way. And after a few repetitions of this, where every time he pulls to the park, I go the other way. As soon as he's polite, I go back to the park. Even if I have to do a big old circle at the park entrance, he will be polite to enter that park, and he will sit, and I will give him a cookie or a treat, and I might even kiss him, and then I'll release him. Or if he's a dog who doesn't always come or doesn't come at the end of the walk, I won't release him there. I'll switch leashes to a long leash and let him go for a little bit and then call him. Let's say his name is Rex. Rex, come. And I'll, one time only, and I will pull him in like a fish that I've caught. Pull him in. No more talking. Pull him in, pull him in, pull him in, pull him in. Now I touch him and get him to sit. Good boy. Okay, go. And we repeat that a bunch. And once he's coming really well, I'll let go on my end. He's still wearing it though. So I can step on it. Someone else can grab it. He's not totally free, and he knows it. And when he's coming like that, then I'll switch leashes again and let him run around with a short leash. Maybe a leash that's just a foot long, the kind that's a handle. But psychologically, he knows he's still on a leash and someone can still grab it. So, and technically, you're not breaking the leash rule either because he is on a leash. So, okay. So you do that. If he comes really well with that, then he deserves to go free. Now you've got a dog who's just proved to you on this day in this park, I will listen. And you've proven to him on this day in this park, the walk's not over when I call you. Because a lot of us get into the habit where we just let our dog go, talk to our friend, we have our coffee, we work on our phone, we play a game, whatever. And at the very end, when we're ready to go, that's when we kind of look up and call him. And he thinks to himself, I think I want a little more time. And he pretends he doesn't hear you because you didn't set it up right from the beginning. So if you had him coming and going throughout the walk, especially at the beginning to earn the freedom, then when you call him at the end, and I would suggest you call him periodically throughout the walk. So he no longer thinks the word come when he hears it from you means end of walk. He knows come means, checking in. Okay. They naturally want to check in anyway. But most of them, the dogs who don't come well, the dogs who pull, the dogs who are trying to be the boss, most of them come almost to you and then run off again. That's not good enough. They have to come all the way so you can touch them, tell them they're good, and then say, okay, go. All right, so I hope that helped a little bit with some of the manners and dog walking. And I have a turkey pumpkin treat for you all. If you want to make something for your dog, this is an interesting one, I think. So you take a pound of ground turkey and 1 can of pumpkin puree. So pumpkin's really good for dogs. And actually, the cats are probably going to like this too. There's nothing wrong with giving your cat these as well. Okay, but don't use the pumpkin that has sugar or flavors or seasoning or salt or none of that. You just want pumpkin. You could actually use pumpkin. But anyway, to make it simple, pounded ground turkey, 1 can of pure pumpkin puree, or you could puree pumpkin, right? If you made jack-o'-lanterns or whatever, you have them left over. All right, so then what you do is you mix that together, and then you take a baking sheet and you put some parchment paper on it, and then I would use 2 sheets because I don't really like the squishiness of meat on my hands. Maybe wear gloves, actually. That's probably a good idea. But anyway, okay, so you spread the meat out on the parchment paper on the cookie sheet, and then you take another piece of parchment paper and you go over it. So you have the meat between 2 sheets of parchment paper. And that way you can use your hands to smooth it out, because you want to make a wafer thin layer of this meat pumpkin, wafer thin, right? As thin as you probably can without it being see-through. So you kind of press all along until you get the right shape, and then you lift off the top layer of paper, and you bake it at 250 for 2 hours, and it'll come out crackly. It'll come out crunchy, almost like a candy bark that you might buy at a store, or like almost like dried seaweed, but much thicker. Anyway, they'll love it. And it's amazing. And you can break it into different pieces and keep it in a cookie jar, keep it in the fridge, freeze it. It'll go fast. Okay, so that's your turkey pumpkin recipe for today. Pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. In New Jersey, I noticed they've got something really cool going on at the Turtleback Zoo. Once a year, they invite mostly kids, but lots of people, to come and see behind the scenes at the zoo. And what they have is they have a surgery medical treatment area where several animals are being treated at the same time, and there's windows so the public can come observe. And I think this is amazing, because this is what I remember doing this similarly when I went to universities, and I saw at University of Guelph, the veterinary college had all their different things on display and different animals, and you could see like the inside of an animal that was alive. You could see the inside of its body, and they had simulations where you could feel what it was like to do this or that, and all the different veterinary medical things at this open house that they had. And it really inspired me. I later took a couple of courses in animal behavior from them. But I think this thing in New Jersey is going to really ignite. It's a make or break thing. When a kid thinks they want to be a veterinarian and they walk into that room and they see them cut open an animal and fix it, they see them work on a turtle, or something's bleeding and now it's not, or something's broken and now it's mended. The kid can see, is this for me? Am I feeling nauseous and I can't watch this, or am I fascinated and I want to do it myself, right? It's an amazing thing. So if you're in New Jersey and you've got a kid who thinks they might want to be a vet, check this out. The New Jersey Turtleback Zoo has an observation room, which I think would be the best birthday gift ever. And my best birthday gift is the American Black Friday. I want to thank you all for giving us Black Friday. I did not know that Black Friday had come up to Canada the way it has. I thought it was just an online thing and in America and whatever. But last week was my birthday, and I decided to treat myself and go out on my birthday. And the Black Friday specials had started already. So, wow. November 22nd already, they're starting here, even though it's a week early. And and my pets, when the holidays come around, they definitely benefited from the Black Friday pet specials that were going on. So if you've got a company out there and you want to advertise some kind of Christmas special, holiday specials, if you've got something you want pet lovers to know about, maybe you've got a franchise opportunity or something like that. My show is listened to over 100,000 people every week, and that's not including downloaders and subscribers. It's not including the untrackables, which are huge. So if you want to reach a pet audience, this is the place to do it. Deb at PetLifeRadio.com, or just contact the station, Pet Life Radio, and we'll figure out how to get you hooked up so you can sell your product or business or service. And we don't just need doggy catty things. Pet people need cleaners. They need everything that a family would need. So keep us in mind when you're thinking about how to reach and how to market to the pet lovers of the world, because we've got them. We've got most of our listeners in America, a huge amount in Canada, and we have listeners worldwide in places like South Africa and Korea and England and Germany, all over the world. So if you want to expand your online audience and you're looking for a pet market, this is the place to do it. Animal Party, Pet Life Radio. And I'm happy to try and test your products. Absolutely. In fact, right now, I'm testing something called Embark. I don't know if you all know about it. It's gene testing. and I ordered 2 kits. It just came, and I'm going to try it. And that was one of those Amazon deals for my birthday. See? Yeah, my pets are benefiting. Anyway, gonna try it. I think I'll make a YouTube video so you can see exactly, opening the kit, what's involved, how easy it is. But I'm gonna try and find out. I have a breeding pair. All my other dogs are spayed or neutered, so I just have one breeding pair, and I'm going to test them for genetic diseases, just to make sure that there's nothing they both carry that I should know about, that maybe they need to dance with a different partner, perhaps. But so far, they've only bred once, and everything's good, and their lineage has been fully tested. So it's just this particular pair that's about to get tested. He's 3, she's 2, or 3.5 and 2.5. So it's time. So I will be testing Fabio the poodle and Peachy the golden doodle. And then the kit comes with a breed test. Now, I already know, if you see Fabio the poodle, you will know too. He looks like a cartoon drawing of a poodle. He is absolutely 100% poodle. There's no doubt. The golden doodle, though, I'm kind of curious because, obviously it was the golden had papers, the poodle had papers. It's unlikely that there's anything else in there, but you kind of wonder. Something could be disguised in there from many, many generations back. Hard to say. So I'm curious about this, and I want to know how detailed it is, how specific, how helpful, and I'll let you know. I'll give you an honest review on a future show. I think it's going to take a while for me to get my results, though. But on YouTube, Deb Wolfe, Pet Expert on YouTube, I will be posting the opening of the kit and how to use it. So if you've ever thought, I kind of like to know what genetic problems I should look out for with my dog or cat, or with my dog rather, or if you're wondering what is my dog, but you think, the test might be too complicated. I wonder if it's a ripoff. I wonder if it works. I'll let you know, because I was wondering that for years. And then I was pricing it and I put it in my cart. Black Friday. So now I've got my Embark kit and I'm ready to go. All right, everybody. From me, Deb Wolfe, and Animal Party Pet Life Radio. Ciao, meow. Be good to your animals.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.